with some broken people. So how does that relate to what I really do? Well, on occasion, now you can't do this with everybody, you can really sense a need, and a lot of times the need in the way to solve somebody's problems or to bring them some peace and resolution in their lives has nothing to do with the technicalities of the law. That, frankly, is simple. To me, after 30-some years, that's kind of like rolling off a log. There's always a deeper need, and I've had the privilege of addressing some of these needs with a lot of people. So I get to take my lawyer hat off. A lot of times I can pray with clients. A lot of times we become friends long after this, and we continue this relationship. So I'd actually been doing it for a long time, and now, of all things, about a year ago, I get called to really come and do this kind of thing, with the Pittsburgh experiment. I don't have to worry about the law and the legal relationship. I get to enter into relationships with other broken people just like me, on a daily basis at a Pittsburgh experiment lunch table where people can come and they don't have to be the banker, they don't have to be the owner of the jewelry store, they don't have to be the great human resources counselor or the wise patent attorney. They can come and just be themselves and kind of put their brokenness on the table among other broken people and bring this whole thing before Jesus. Now that's kind of an oversimplification of what happens, but really that's it at its bottom. So I get blessed because I get to do what I've really been doing for 30 plus years. I get to do it as a calling now with the Pittsburgh experiment.
Thank you, Kerry.
Wow, I can talk about this so long. There's so many great ideas with what we're able to do at our store, my store, in the jewelry store. Of course, this is my family business, and it was a passion of mine since I was, as tall as my dad's knee. Seeing what he does, and the jewelry the beautiful artwork that he gets to work with. It's interesting going through the Leaders Collaborative and learning to work to your strengths. My education is in social work. And I thought, am I really following through with my calling? But here I am in this incredible business that gets to put our name on supporting fabulous charities throughout the city. And I've realized that supporting charities with our name and getting the word out is more effective than what I would be doing sitting in an office, most likely, in social work. We've also taken it a step further in that I think we all realize that one of the problems our country faces today is the high divorce rate. And here we are, we get to work with these incredible young couples that their lives are in front of them, sitting down at the engagement counter, talking about marriage, and they're so excited. We get to take it a little bit step further, and we actually encourage every young couple to take marriage classes. And through these marriage classes, they come back in with their gift certificates, or their certificates stating that they've gone to these classes, and we give them a reduced price and wedding bands, which ties so tightly into our society. So many people are looking for a gift coupon. I've had many people go just for that coupon. It's
this
really
idea
quite exciting.
deserves a hand.
So we're also now working forward to working and touching base with these couples 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, and give them marriage advice. As we realize, we feel that the key is to get to them before the problem gets too big. So that's just one aspect that we've been able to work on.
It's beautiful. We this idea of building a marriage support program, Henne Jewelers calls it to have and to hold, into the very act of doing business with people who are getting married, was birthed in Meg's brother John's heart a long time ago, but came up during the breakthrough goal work he did in the collaborative. And one of the things we hold very deep in our belief is that the impact we have in the world while we're working is as significant for transformation as the impact we try to have in the world when we write a charitable check or serve on a board. And to help people think creatively about doing business and doing good all as one is, I think it's fair to say, one of our greatest joys in our daily work. And I so love what you're doing at Henne Jewelers. One more question round. At lunch today, Dr. Bruce Bickle is going to be talking about character. And and the importance of character in business. And so what I'd ask you to do, this is going to have to be a shorter round, but it's been a tough 18 months, 24 months. These have been hard times, and there are some people who think that in hard times, you put some of the standards aside because you got to make the deal. And that's a temptation that is false. And I've asked each of them to think a little bit about the relationship of character to business. And if you have a story of, of a character moment in your work in business that you'd like to share, and start with you, Megan, come down, the place of character in business and any character story you have.
This is a tough one. With retail, as you can imagine, it's been very difficult for us since August of 2008. Our biggest, hopefully the most difficult decision I've ever had to make in my career came January of 2009, where we had to lay off 3 people. And we have fortunately been able to retain everyone else that works for us, and the business is going strong. So that was the biggest decision, and what we did is we laid our cards out for everybody to see. We laid out for our staff, which now is 20 people, we laid out our financial cards, everything, our business plan, laid it right out on the table. And we were able to save 20 jobs, is the way we view it. And the morale was incredible in 2009, where everyone came together as a team. We were able to hire one person back, and we were able to see 2 other people. We were able to help 2 other people find jobs elsewhere. So that was a blessing, a strong blessing.
Truth, compassion, transparency, vulnerability, character qualities. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's really great. It really is great. Well, it's certainly over the past 18 months, idols have fallen in the business community, haven't they? All the pension plans that everybody was counting on, all the investments that everybody was counting on, all the jobs that everyone was counting on from cradle to grave, all the hope for young graduates coming out of school and getting great jobs has sort of crumbled, hasn't it? The great idol of the great career and the great American materialist dream sort of has crumbled away over the last 18 months. And what a gap that has made, and what an opportunity to lead people in the business community and put their hand on the door to a real life. We all, probably most of you here know what I'm talking about, a real life in Jesus Christ, where you have power and peace that does not depend on these circumstances, that happiness almost means something that happens to you. Joy is a different thing. Many of us know that. But think about your coworkers, the person in the cubicle next door, or your neighbor, or the people you run into in your everyday lives who are struggling with these very issues just because their great idols have fallen. Where do they go? What do they do? If you can't, sometimes you can't get them to church. They're just not oriented that way. But they can find other people who are going through the same struggles and have found the door, and have found a way, and have found some basic truth to life in Jesus Christ. So I don't have a heroic story to tell about myself and what I've done and where my character has shined. For every one of those, I could tell you 2 or 3 other ones where it hasn't shined. But I get to sit at a table and be with other people who are just like me while we're going through this tough time.
Thank you, Kerry. For me, this last 18 to 24 months has been very difficult from a personal and business point of view. And without going into the minutiae, I will give you the highlights. I've faced significant crisis in my marriage, death of a brother from basically an exploding heart, theft of thousands of dollars from my residence, just a whole host of things. It seems like the Lord has sort of piled it on. And I think He's piled it on for the very reason that John has asked us to speak about, and that is character. I have spent my entire life, personal and professional, looking in the mirror and saying, "How great Thou art." And God called an abrupt halt.